Hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. I'm all set. I don't think so. I'm set. Believe so. I'm set. Okay. Just getting warmed up. It's really hot. Okay, guys, I'm just waiting to connect with my friend. He's in the house. And we're gonna go live. Hi.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I am being bombarded by flying ants. I think,
I
yeah,
can't hear you.
you can't hear me. Can you still not hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you
Oh,
now,
good.
loud and clear.
Good, good, good. Yeah, no, I am good. I am sitting outside in the late afternoon sunshine here, and all is very peaceful. Yeah.
You're sitting outside in this heat? Wow.
Well, I have over there, the sun is just below the tree line, so it's out of my hair, out of my face. Well, it's been out of my hair for a long time. So it's pleasant. It's not hot today. Not like you
Oh,
guys. Not like you
oh
guys.
yeah. You don't want to
Yeah.
come here. You're gonna melt.
Mm.
So, Hamish, how was your week?
Moving. Life is moving
Moving.
forward. Energy is moving. Things are happening. Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a long week. I'm glad it's Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend here. But it's been a good week.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. So
podcast is getting closer. Yeah.
okay, cool. So when you have a good week, when men have good week, I assume they don't shut down.
No, we would go to celebrate. Might go and have a couple of drinks. Not that I drink, so I'm not doing that. But I'm here. In fact, that's what I'm here on a Friday night, talking about life um, rather than shutting down. Yeah. No, men would on a Friday they would go out and pretend like the week wasn't very good and not talk about the week and just talk about it's football season, isn't it? So talk
Yeah.
about the football and things like that. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Mm. So, Hamish, question.
Hmm.
Why do men shut down all the time?
Oh, ho, ho. Do you know, I was nearly going to give you an answer until you
I-
just clapped up with that
I'm
last
nailing
little
it,
bit.
man.
That
I'm nailing it.
you, you are, yeah. Why do men shut down all the time? Lots of reasons. Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's been a long day or a long week. Sometimes they need time off to decompress. Um,
Mm,
Sometimes there's just too much noise going on. With
mm,
behind this hard exterior, we're quite sensitive people. We
mm,
do feel. We might not realize we do. We might not be able to articulate what it is, but things affect us.
mm,
So yeah, shut down from being overtired, too many expectations, too much work. Maybe it's just been a long day, 10, 12, 14 hours, whatever, and just need to stop
yeah,
for 10 minutes, half an hour, just to breathe, relax. If you're a gamer, play on a computer game for a little bit, sit on your phone and scroll. But those are reasons, I suppose, or what the results are, not the reasons why they do it. That's some of the reasons.
mm,
But they also do it because we also do it because sometimes we don't have the capacity or the emotional intelligence to be able to share what we're feeling if we actually are aware of what we are feeling.
mm. So you're saying that men shut down because they don't understand internally what's going on. They're overwhelmed, and just to make sense and feel more grounded, that's their coping mechanism to just shut down, ground
It's it,
themselves, and then come back.
it's one, and it's not just from overwhelm. It might be from too much. It might be tired. It might be that
Yeah.
just there's just too much going on, or if he's got kids and a family, there's just too much noise. Um, and then
Elaborate that if he has kids and family. What does that mean?
well, it can be very noisy, so he will shut down rather than, very importantly, engaging. Rather than saying to spouse, wife, if she's been looking after the kids all day,
Hmm.
um, how can I help? But so, there is a
Uh,
ghost squeaking at me. Yeah, so just because there's too much, and a lot of times it's not actually realizing that partner needs support or help. Um, it might just be just a coping mechanism, just a lack of thinking. Just, I mean, there's so many reasons. So we almost need to sort of walk through one or two and break it down a little bit. I think that might be helpful.
yeah, go ahead. Let's break it down. Break it down for us, Hamish.
Well, let's say so. Comes home from busy day. Wife and kids are at home. Presumably, she's been busy. Kids are noisy. Happy to see dad. There's that dynamic, and if the day has been long and hard, um, there is that tendency to come home and just not engage,
Yeah.
which is not okay. It's not okay. Yes, I need time off. Yes,
Mm.
darling, sweetheart, hug the kids. I need 15 minutes to have a shower, to sit down, to decompress. But that requires, there's communication, and that's not always as high as it should be. Um, and that's not unreasonable. Women need time to calm down. To calm down. That's not what I meant. To
Oh, you're in
wind down.
trouble.
Oh, absolutely. Nearly got away with that. They need you ladies need time to wind down. You had a busy day, and you're drinking your cup of something there with that amazing with that funky handle. So yeah, it's human nature to stop and wind down. But I think there's still that big expectation that the man is at work doing that all work, bringing in the money, bringing in this, doing that, being the provider, come home and shut down. And I think that's certainly me as a Gen X. That was the narrative. That's what my dad did. He didn't help much around the house. We had
Yeah.
to as kids.
Yeah.
Um, but that was that generation. There's quite a lot more generations since my dad's generation and me, and I don't have kids, so I haven't had that experience. But you know, chatting to friends, my family, my siblings, my brother comes home and it's just like, I need 10 minutes to stop before mayhem and chaos of two children.
Yeah. Hamish, what's coming up for me? I mean, I didn't have a normal marriage anyways, but when I look back, my husband was working, he would go at 6 in the morning, 5:30, right? And he's coming home after a 12-hour shift or a 14-hour shift, right? And we've been home. I've been home because I wasn't driving in US, right? And I'm looking forward to like a human besides my little
Mm-hmm.
girl. I can't
Yep.
communicate with her. And he comes home and I'm so joyed, though we don't get along, but I'm still so joyed to see him. And there's just like, yeah, I'm so tired. And then, he would just go in his room and shut the door and uh and as years progressed in the marriage, he would come home and he said, oh, I'm so tired, and God forbid I said, oh, I'm also tired. uh it never landed. There was always this answer that, oh, go live a day like I do, like do an 18-hour shift and
Mm-hmm.
see. And initially I was like, he was a very hardworking guy,
Yeah.
so I give that to him, like 100, not 1000%, right? He would work 18 hours a day,
Mm.
7 days a week and stuff, right? And he would come home and, it went on and went on and went on. And I started to feel that I'm just asking for consideration. If you're working 18 hours, I'm home raising your kids, our
Mm.
kids.
Yeah.
I keep the house clean. I keep the bathrooms clean. The food is ready. The kids are clean. The house was never messy when he came, right?
Mm.
So things like that. So, I started voicing it like, well, I'm also tired, I'm also,
Mm,
and it's like, oh, you're really tired. Go do what I was doing. And I was like, I don't know that, right? But when you come home, the house is clean, you have warm food, fresh warm food made every day for you.
mm,
I never get a break because when you come home, I'm just looking after you. And then so I never get me time.
mm,
So, well, I was shut down from it because I'm being rude and disrespectful towards my husband. But I'm just thinking in a normal, healthy
mm,
relationship where it's just the miscommunication. It's just two normal people. You come home, for example, and I say, oh, well, I'm tired, and you shut down and you say, you give me 15 minutes. Hamish, that's not going to go well. Even if you need 15
mm.
minutes,
No,
I'm just
no.
being real.
Mm,
It's going to be
mm,
you were out all day. Like, I'm just being real. Like, women can do
mm,
that, right? You come home, and even if you communicate, listen, I had a rough day. I just need 15 minutes or a
mm,
shower or a run, and I'll be present. It's not even received at times. A lot of the
mm,
times, I would say, women burst like, I was waiting for you all day. You need to take care of the kids. I need to go take a shower and stuff like that.
mm,
So then I think men further shut down.
mm.
I'm taking too much side of the men right now, but but I do see that if generally a man's coping mechanism to stress and overwhelm is to shut down, and when he's received with further accusations, he further would distance himself, right?
Mm.
Would
Yeah,
you agree?
I would absolutely agree. It's
Yeah.
when anybody's on the back foot, you were the prime
Mm.
example. You've been with the kids 16, 18 hours. You're looking forward to a conversation that's a bit more than da 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 ba 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 ba. You want to use words with two syllables or maybe even three syllables.
Yeah.
And it's just like I'm too tired. So well, hang on. You know, as you said, you're gonna rightfully get resentful, and it is
Yeah.
communication, and it is hard. And I haven't had kids, so never had that experience of coming home to that laughter and joy and love and peace of a lovely clean house. Um, and yeah, and everything that goes with it, and being able to communicate because I communication was not my strong point, and I think it's difficult. It's easier now. I'm in my 50s. I make a point of communicating with my partner, and it's really, really important. But I've had to learn that. I suspect your kids are going to have that awareness to be able to communicate with their girlfriends, boyfriends,
Yeah.
partners. Um,
Yeah.
it's just what it is, I think. And it
Yeah.
is hard because you get my back up. I come home and you want to do this, you want this, you want to talk to me. So, hang on, I need this. It's like, well, I need it as well. And then just somebody has to step back for the other one, and round it goes. And your needs aren't met, his needs aren't met. He doesn't understand what you want because you've just had blah 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 from a child all day. He's had
Yeah.
boom 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 from work all day. So you've both had same but different. Um, but it is that capacity to be able to hold that
I keep
space and
on
go,
losing you. The connection is
yeah,
not good. Can you hear me clearly, or is it just me?
it's a bit of both. I lost you for a second, but then you came back again. Yeah, it's coming. It is coming and going a little bit. But I've got five. I've got five
Or from
Gs
my
here.
end as well?
Mm. I don't know. You disappeared momentarily there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
Um, well, if it keeps on happening, I'll get the other Wi-Fi
Hmm.
on. Anyway, I'm just thinking in my head right now. So we did this hypothetical thing that you come home, I
Mm.
was with the kids, and like, you want 15 minutes, and I'm like, no way, you're not getting 15 minutes. I need to take a shower, take care of the kids. In that situation, would it be okay to ask the man, because women need a lot of reassurance, and I don't think so it's unhealthy. I
No.
think it's just who
Mm.
they are. uh
Mm.
I was just saying that if the man could just hold her and say, listen, I'm here, I love you, I know you've missed me, I know you need me, but I really cannot just get 15 minutes, otherwise I'm not going to be present, it's just going to blow off you know I think that would work much better.
Wouldn't it?
uh
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
And how hard is it to say that? How hard is it for
You
the
tell me,
man
because
to?
men don't do that.
No, they don't, because they're
Yeah.
afraid that they don't get the chance or they won't be able to or whatever. But it's there's such an expectation that men have on themselves that have been drummed into them and all sorts of things, though. So that the idea of being able to say, "Hang on, I love you, I support you, I just need 10 minutes." What happens if she says no? Then I've got to fight, or she says it again, or there's that internal narrative of what if, what if.
Yeah.
Um, but being able to hold your partner and just say, "Hang on, I love you. Give me 10 minutes. I am here. I'm not discounting you. I'm not. This isn't about you. This is purely about me needing that time." Both parties, both she could do that and say she could come back and say, "Hey, I love you, husband. I need a shower. Have the kids for 10 minutes. I go have a shower. I go and cry. I go and whatever, do whatever I need to do for 10 minutes. Then I'll come back. You do that. You have your downtime." So either party could do that, but it's just an emotional intelligence which is it's not taught, wasn't taught in my generation. Hopefully you're teaching your kids, and
Yeah.
people who've got kids are doing that, because it's not hard. It's respect for
Mm.
self and for the other. You going, I need 10 minutes, I need 15 minutes to shower and this, and him saying the same thing.
I think nowadays generation is too selfish. It's becoming too selfish. It's all about me, me, me. So I think that there's also that imbalance right now,
Mm,
Uh, and
yeah.
women are wanting too much independence, and they're done, and one red flag, okay, leave him or whatever, all that BS is going on social
Mm,
media. I do agree, and I would say
mm,
that relationships, any relationship, but intimate relationships require a lot of hard work and
mm,
dedication and commitment.
yeah.
And it's not, oh, this is a red flag because I read online, so it's a red flag. It's not. Maybe it's not a red flag for you. Like, come on. So it's about having that understanding that it may be a red flag for Hamish. It's
Mm,
not a red flag for me, right?
yeah.
And just because the internet is saying it, I don't need to believe that, right? And then even if it's one red flag, I don't need to blow off the relationship. Just first have a conversation about it. This is how I feel when you do this, right?
Mm,
I think that's what's lacking now. So I personally believe, and I can most definitely be wrong, but I feel that it's becoming more of, we are instigating a lot of becoming really selfish and self-centered, and like
mm,
one red flag, walk away, this babe, walk away, he doesn't make money, walk away. So it's a lot of BS, which I think in the real world, in real relationship, it's not like that. It's a lot of balanced give and take
mm,
from both ends, and one has to learn that. Obviously, we're going off track again, but coming back,
mm,
mm, a man who doesn't know, right? They don't know how to express their emotions. Emotions are
mm,
considered to be weak. You're not supposed to be vulnerable. Masculinity is all about being strong, being sorted, always having your thing together,
mm,
that kind of thing. And then obviously he comes home, he shuts down, or he's dating somebody and he needs time and he doesn't message her, doesn't call her, doesn't take her out on a date, whatever the dynamic is. How can that man realize, A, that he's shutting down, and B, this is not serving the relationship? Like, how will he learn?
mm. Good question. I'm just going to come back. Mohammed's asked what's this all about. Mohammed, we're talking about relationships where the man shuts down, where he stops communicating, where the example we spoke about earlier before you arrived was man's come home from a busy day at work, wife, partner has had the kids all day at work. The conversation between her and her children has been baby language. She cannot wait to have a proper conversation. He's had a busy, long day. All he wants to do is sit and game or have a shower, read a book, scroll on his phone, rather than start the conversation with his partner, with his wife about stuff and listen and communicate. So that's what we're talking about. And this question was, I really can't remember. This is what happens sometimes when I get told, what was the question again? You came back just in time. Thank you. So like, crap, what am I going to talk
Yeah.
about? So what was the question, very briefly?
What was my question? Yes, my question was a man who is grown up in an environment where
Mm,
showing emotions is considered
mm,
weak. Masculinity is all about being sorted and being like together. You can't, you have to have it
mm,
together all the time, right? So this person has learned that shutdown is the only way, right?
mm,
And it's nothing wrong. It's just how I operate or whatever.
yeah.
Uh, then how will the awareness come? How will he learn that the quality of the relationship is being compromised and how women operate? It's nothing personal. It's not that we don't trust men or, yeah, we are very insecure
Mm,
for sure. But it's not that if a woman is asking for reassurance that she doesn't trust you, because then the question goes on to, I know, why don't you
mm,
trust me and stuff like that.
mm,
So it's a natural desire for a woman, just the way it's a natural desire for a man that he needs space, right? um for women, it's we need reassurance, right?
mm.
So then how can a man learn that and not take it personally or become defensive that his shutdown is causing issues in the relationship?
I unless he has a moment of awareness, unless he's with a partner who is able to say to him, "Look, if you're not prepared to talk to me, this relationship is over."
Hmm.
Um, and she allows him to feel safe enough to do that. However, it's then you've got two people on very different levels, and the only way that's going to happen is if one of them they've come together and one of them has started to do that personal work. The woman's done the personal work. She's realizing her value. She's realizing that the relationship is not working, realizing there is value in it, and is
Hmm.
willing to communicate. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart. There
Okay,
will be
Hamish.
fighting. There will be fighting. There will be disagreement, and the only way he will learn is by the relationship failing and him going, "What went wrong?" and not starting another relationship with the same story but a different person.
I'm sorry. I'm just in a very sarcastic mood, but do really men think? But but that thing where you said, hypothetically, this man, okay, he's shutting down. He comes
Mm,
home. Let's take out the kids also. Let's take out the two people they're dating, right?
mm,
Right. And he shuts down. He doesn't communicate. He's tired or he's at a rough day. She doesn't know why he shuts down, but he just shuts down. And
mm,
once he comes back, he's normal, like nothing happened, because for him, obviously, he's just operating from his mindset that this works for me and
yeah,
it serves the relationship, right? So in that dynamic, when a woman addresses it, that listen, you disappear, without a reason,
mm.
and it makes me feel very unsafe. I don't know what's going on. Are we on good terms? Are we not on good terms? Did I do something? Um, why do you shut down?
Mm.
Uh, how do you think that would be received by a man?
Oh, you're talking nonsense. You're talking nonsense. What are you talking about? I'm fine. You're fine. Just stop it. Gaslighting, fighting, being defensive. That's one scenario, probably a very likely one. Um,
And he's probably not even aware that he's gaslighting, I think, in this situation. We're taking out the very toxic, narcissistic people. We just talking about men who just don't know. They just
yeah,
shut down. Yeah.
yeah. It's the you don't know what you don't know. I
Yeah.
had no idea how much I was compromising my wife's capacity to live a life because I was always, let me help you, I'll do it, I'll fix it, all that kind of stuff. Um,
Mm.
and you don't know. So going back to our scenario, he's either going to say, "I'll stop it," or "I'm sorry," and not do anything. He might change, but the whole process of changing requires a man to be introspective. I've got to understand that I'm upsetting my partner, and if I love my partner, then there's going to be more capacity to find out what's going wrong.
Right.
Um,
So let's go back to the when the woman says this, you said that the man says, "Oh, we're fine. You're just overthinking. You're being sensitive,
yeah.
and stuff like that." And then the woman says to him, no, listen, this is how I feel. Like, I feel very insecure. I feel very anxious because I don't know what's going on. You're not
Mm.
responding to my text. All that stuff.
Mm.
uh, do you think he would still kind of like gaslight out of the situation because it's making him uncomfortable, or will there be some sort of communication at his end?
It's a real big choice.
Mm,
It's a real big choice. If you if you know if his heart's in that relationship, he's going to listen. If he's
okay.
willing to make that effort, if he understands that, if there's that level of self awareness, and you're usually only going to get that after you've burnt yourself once or twice. I mean, that's
Mm,
one of the things about relationships. You learn, you experiment, you realize you're a dickhead, you realize you're stupid, you realize you're not being self-aware. You realize that certain women are also demanding, unkind. They've got their own ways of getting what they want, the same way that a man has. And so you start to dance and learn with each other. Um, so the
mm,
shutdown is, for me, very much it was just like, I can't do it. I'm not interested. And then if I'm feeling vulnerable, I'm feeling this, just like, well, I'm just going to shut down even more, because I was that avoidant, and that was just too much like hard work. I didn't want that
mm,
conversation. I really didn't. It was
yeah.
too hard, too tiring, too painful. It upset me. It was all about me. It was all about me. It was all about me, my safety. I didn't want to have to look after the woman. I didn't want to have these conversations. They made me uncomfortable. When I was uncomfortable, I felt unsafe. So I would shut you down, because my safety was fragile. I did not know how to keep myself safe. So it comes down to the man trying to keep himself safe. She's trying to keep herself safe by, I'm not feeling validated. I'm not feeling, I'm feeling vulnerable. I don't know what's happening. She wants that,
Yeah.
um, that support, that communication, that love, to, for him to say, I see you, I hold you, I love you, I am here for you. He's not able
Yeah.
to. And he's
Yeah.
not able to, because that requires more of him than he's capable of giving. And it's the thing, you know, it's, it's,
Mm.
it's what men do until they've
You
learned
think
how
most men
to.
do that?
No, no, I don't think most men do that. I think a lot of men do.
Okay.
It's upbringing. As we said earlier, you're bringing your kids up to have far more emotional intelligence than you and I did when we were their age.
Yeah.
So you're educating them. I didn't have an education when it came to emotional intelligence.
Mm,
Yeah, my knuckles were dragging along on the floor for a long time. But that's
mm,
just the way it goes. So it's an
yeah.
it's a learned way of communicating. Um,
Mm,
and if you love your partner, she has the strength to support the man. He has the willingness to support her and hold her and say, "Hey, I see you. I'm really sorry. You know,
mm,
I don't understand. I'm not feeling safe. This is my way of protecting myself." But that is a real conversation. That's a real vulnerable conversation for a man to say, "I don't feel safe." Really, really hard thing to say. Really hard. So it's much easier to keep people at arm's length. For me, it's much easier
wow.
to be single than be in a relationship. Much easier.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't got to worry about stuff. I can leave stuff lying around. I can do this. I can do that. However, I miss out on a relationship. I miss out on love. I miss out on communication and connection and intimacy, and waking up next to the same person and having a big hug in the morning, and just all that stuff that relationships bring. They bring joy and love, and obviously there's the triggering each other and winding each other up. But there is that capacity to go, I don't feel safe today. I'm tired. Two people can help each other. When you're by yourself, you know this. When you're feeling
Mm,
sick, too bad, matey. No one else is there to help
mm,
you. When you've got a partner, at least you can. Ideally, you get sick at different times. Um,
mm.
so, but it's not as easy. Is it worth it? Yeah, it is
Oh,
absolutely worth it.
Hamish, are you there? I'm not happy you're sitting outside. I'm losing you again and again. This is me communicating.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why.
Uh, I moved to my 4G, so maybe it will stop. But no, it's getting worse. You keep on like pausing.
Just to have it done again. Yeah. Um, yeah, I can go in
Do I pause longer when I'm talking? And do you lose me also?
just intermittent, just intermittently.
Yeah, same. But then
Mm,
it's like the whole sentence is just gone when you're saying
yeah.
something.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes, I haven't lost you
Hopefully.
like that. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I've got there's no Wi-Fi here. We're on telephone anyway. We're on data here.
Yeah. Well, the ghost that you could hear is probably playing with your data.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like tell
Yeah.
ghost. Tell him to go where
Mm.
it's a he or a she or whatever it is.
I'm not sure what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. So Hamish, I'm curious to understand that. Does it bother men that women want reassurance? It's comforting for them.
I don't think all women want reassurance. I think that need to be loved is feminine, and it's
Yeah.
men need to be loved, and that is the feminine side of the masculine.
Hmm.
I'm trying not to get too meta here, but yes, women need to be loved, and that is a man's role, is to love the woman, and when she feels loved, she blossoms. When a woman
Hmm.
knows is loved, she flourishes. She makes the house into a home. Anything that she
Yeah.
touches becomes gold because she has that love of that man, and that love doesn't just lift her up and support her. It kind of carries her, and she gives it back to him. She loves him back, and she nurtures, she creates. So
Hmm.
I liken to it as woman femininity is chaotic. It's not good or bad chaotic. It's chaotic, and the
Hmm.
masculine is structure. And
Hmm.
too much structure, you think of a tree in the wind, it will break. Too
Hmm.
much chaos, and you just have a storm. Whereas you
Hmm.
bring them both together, they support each other, and then there's that dance. You've got the healthy masculine, the
Hmm.
structure, being helping the chaotic feminine to have structure, to create, to love. He loves and creates because he is able to move, not just a rigid structure. And so you have
Hmm.
that beautiful dance between two people. And that's what
Hmm.
relationships is about. That's what a healthy man and a healthy woman in their divinity, in their strength, in their support for each other really is. And then you have something magical.
Hmm.
Then
Interesting.
you have
And
relations. Yeah.
I why did I not like when you said that feminine is chaotic?
Why did you not? It triggered
Yeah.
something. It is. The feminine energy is inherently chaotic. And there's
Right.
nothing. Chaos isn't drama. It's a big, big
Obviously.
difference.
Yeah.
So, but think,
So explain
yeah.
in your
Mhm.
terms what you mean by that.
Well, chaos is just a lack of order. So you think
Mm.
about when you paint a picture, wherever you
Yeah.
start, there's going to be chaos, and slowly something beautiful comes out of it. Think of
Yeah.
a caterpillar to become a butterfly. In that mixture, in the cocoon, there is complete chaos. There is, what was a caterpillar, what was the
Mm-hmm.
caterpillar is then this bowl of soup, and then it comes out as a butterfly. So chaos is chaos is potential. Chaos is potential. Chaos is magic. Chaos is change. It is flow. It is all of those things. A
Mm-hmm.
river flows. Arguably, the feminine is the water, and the masculine is the banks. So the river can do what it wants to do within those constraints, and at the same time, the woman changes the flow of the river, changes the flow of the path of the river. So it's the chaos is powerful. It's incredibly powerful, and the
Mm-hmm.
rigidity also is actually a weakness. If you're
Mm-hmm.
too rigid and then you hit a storm or an earthquake, the buildings fall down because that rigidity, that masculine structure is too strong. So you have to have both.
Mm. So for me, in my understanding, you mean that chaos is basically flow, the
Yeah,
the natural flow of life.
yeah, I think
So
so. Yeah, I
yeah.
think so because I mean, you think about it. I said earlier about the the woman will turn a house into a home. You will bring in plants, pots, pictures, paintings, clothes, all sorts of things, and a house becomes a home. It becomes more than this place here was four walls, a couple of pictures on the walls, four plates, four knives, four forks. Girlfriend turned up, and now it's habitable. That's what happens because there is that love together. There is that connection. She feels coming into my house that
Mm.
it's hers now and she's building it and living it. And, we are creating something together, but it is her.
She brings
her
order, right? She brings order. Like everything
well,
is, you know.
she brings beauty and magic into it.
Yeah.
Um, with intuition with this. And I mean, yeah, she just brings that touch into it that I didn't have because couldn't be bothered, wasn't important, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
I
So the
think
the
I think I think it doesn't vary from gender to gender. Like I'm single right now, so I can be messy. My things can be everywhere, and whatever. Who's here in my room is just me, right? I don't really care. It's my mess. I'll clean it whenever.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh, right. But with the way you're speaking, like when you're describing your home, like it's like this order. When she comes in, she brings this. In my mind, it's the same thing, right? I'm thinking I live alone. It's a mess. This is like this. But when a man enters, the right man, there's warmth, there is
yeah,
safety.
yeah,
I feel safe. So
yeah,
now I want the place to look beautiful. I want everything to be in perfect order when he looks around. So I think it's just the same thing in different ways that we're expressing it.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
The
yeah,
relationships.
absolutely. And one thing to consider: do you feel as feminine as you could be when you haven't got when you have to do everything? Because you're running your household as the man and the woman. You're
Yeah,
not in your you're not allowed to be in your feminine as much because you've got to be the husband. You've got to be the man for the kids.
yeah, yeah.
So describe that to me. Describe how it would feel if you were more in your feminine. Because then this will.
I've really worked on it, Hamish. I think for the longest time I was operating from the masculine, especially when I left my husband, I came back. It was very like, "Oh, I'll punch you and don't mess with me." Like I was like that, like rage and anger and chaotic, really chaotic. Uh, I don't know whether it was masculine or feminine or bad of both,
Mm,
wounded bad of both. But now where I'm at, obviously with the work I've done on me, and I really saw that I was operating from my masculine more than my feminine. It was really bothering me, right? So I had to step back and kind of review myself. And obviously after healing and everything, it came later, way later, after a lot of healing, where I realized that I'm operating from the masculine energy in me mostly. So I had to sit and work and detach myself. So uh, with my kids, when they need to be structured, they need to be disciplined, that's where masculine comes in. um, when I say something, I say something. I mean it. Nobody's messing here, right? So that's
mm,
the masculine. I believe that's the masculine. But I know how to step out of that. I can be a girl.
mm,
For the longest time, I hated the color pink for the longest time. And it kept on coming up for me. And I was really bothered. Like, oh my God, I don't want this, right? It was
mm,
just not pink. It was baby pink, right? And I kind of like was running away because, oh, baby pink means I'm being soft and I'm being a girl, and I'm not that. I'm a single woman in this society and in this culture. I need to like act like a dominant person. Don't mess with me and stuff like that. So
mm,
it was really hard to like let go of that narrative, accept that, okay, this color is talking to me, the baby pink was talking to me, to accept it, to wear it, to have it in my room, and to walk in my feminine energy and understand that I'm not weak has been my biggest challenge. Like, I'm
Mhm.
soft, I don't need to become hard, and I'm still powerful. That has been my learning curve
Mhm.
in especially the past 2 years, that I don't have to be rigid and hard and like all that kind of thing. I can be soft and gentle and yet be firm and still come around like don't mess with me,
Mhm.
you know. So
I
yeah,
do.
for me,
And
yeah,
I love that, because I think what you've also, you've said, I'm not being hard, I'm not being rigid, I'm not being all these things. That's what men are
yeah,
taught to be.
yeah,
And when you are in the feminine, there is that capacity to talk. So if a man, if he is being rigid and, I don't want this, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm just home, I'm tired, he's not tapping into that feminine part of him, that
mm,
communication, that understanding, that that awareness that you, partner, lover, wife, whoever she is, um, has their own needs. He's not seeing that, because he's been brought up to be so hard, to be so masculine, to be firm, rigid. The warrior, the protector, the
yeah,
fighter, all that kind of thing. That
mm,
capacity for communication and connection and love is diminished. And so that's going right back. That's why there is less communication. That's why there is less
mm.
awareness, because
Yes.
I'm not allowed to be vulnerable. I'm not allowed to be weak. I'm not allowed to show too much love, do this. Certainly not allowed to cry. Certainly not allowed to be certain things. Um,
Mm,
and that does reduce that capacity for emotional intelligence, for
yeah,
to listen and go, oh, you need some help as well. Okay, you know,
yeah.
I
You
will.
know when you say that. Sorry, I got you. Please go ahead.
Hmm? No, that's fine. I was just wrapping up.
Yeah, I had two things coming up, and one was many years ago when I started my podcast. I was on this guy's he's a mufti, and I was on his live. I was on his YouTube channel, right? And we was talking, and I was like, men should be allowed to cry, And there were a lot of women in the chat who were saying, "Oh, please, we don't want a man who cries." A lot of women
Mm,
saying that. And I could read that, right?
mm,
And he just played it out, right? He's like, okay, so you're okay with your man coming home every day and sitting and crying, oh, I've just had a rough day. And I was like, well, now you're going to an extreme, right? But I think men should be allowed to. It's okay if a man was to come home one day and have a meltdown because he's just stressed out because of work, or his boss is really hard on him, right? And for me, if I know that man really well, right, I'm not going to judge him and see him of less of a man because, oh my God, he cried.
mm,
It doesn't take that away. For me, it's always, if a man can't show his emotions, I can't like, dude, what are you? Are you a robot or something?
mm,
So for me, obviously, I'm not saying you have to like not crying all the time, but
mm.
if you do cry, it doesn't take that away from me
Yeah.
looking at you as a man, right? And then I always give this example because I love it so much. I used to watch a lot of Turkish shows, right? And I watched this show called Artugul, right? And there are these men, and this is true. So the whole show was made from history, Turkish history, right?
Mhm,
And Hamish, they showed these tall, huge, masculine men, like broader, masculine, big biceps, big, bulky men, right?
mhm.
And they're warriors, right? And they are
Yeah.
warriors, and they go to war and all that. And it's so beautiful that when they come to their women, they can be soft. And
Mhm,
it was so uncomfortable first because I never seen that. Like, oh, you can go and fight and then you can come and be that. What's going on here? But
mhm,
as I saw the show, it grew on me and I understood, oh, this can happen. So they would come in their tents, and
mhm.
they would take off their their war stuff, and they would take off their sword and all that, and they'll put their heads on their wives' lap, right? Sometimes they would even cry, or
mm,
sometimes they just put their lap there, just let me rest, right? And it was the most beautiful experience
mm,
that I learned through that show was that a man can go out on war, kill people,
mm,
be all masculine in his looking and his appearance as well, and then come and completely surrender. And it was so beautiful, and that's why I kept on telling men, please go see that show. Every
mm,
man I've spoken to, I've told them, go see that show, because it's really profound, and it kind of like at least educated me
yeah,
that both can coexist,
yeah,
and I learned a lot through that show. And I know that being a single mom, you asked this, the masculine is for me is when something chaotic has happens, like when a storm happens, like my dad's had, my kid is screaming or they're both fighting. I can't
mm,
be emotional. I can't melt down. I
yeah,
can't cry. I can't be emotional. I can't operate from my feminine. At that time, I've learned to automatically go into my masculine.
mm,
Is logically okay, if somebody is not feeling well, if he's having a seizure or somebody's having a fever, what can I do for them?
mm,
Instead of like, where women would start beating themselves or hitting themselves or crying and not understanding how to navigate through the situation. I've done that myself in younger years.
mm,
Now I know that I think that's when I'm operating from my masculine. So, when everybody is like screaming and going around like, this happened, oh my God, this happened. And I'm just like calm. Like, I'm just like, okay, like, what are we getting from screaming and crying? Like, let's
mm,
like focus on what we need to do. Like, what's the solution? So,
yeah,
that kind of thing. So I think that's also where the masculine taps in more with the feminine of staying grounded.
mm, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's experience, it's communication. That that story that you just said about the men coming back, they were also, they trusted their partners. They
Yeah.
knew that coming back and crying and, I've been carrying everything, I've been doing this, it's too much, I just need time. They're not being judged.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, oh crap, if my boyfriend, my partner, my lover is going to cry, my safety is completely dependent on him. And if he cannot support me, then, this is too much. I can't have a man who is going to be like that. That's every man's
Yeah.
fear. He's in a relationship
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he he says, I'm struggling, and
Yeah.
then that trust is gone because she suddenly feels, well, I'm not safe anymore. He was her safety.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to keep your arm's length,
Mm.
to shut down,
Mm.
than have those
Mm.
conversations.
Yeah.
Because if I'm seen as vulnerable and it's not safe for me, or I don't think it's safe, I'm not going to do it. That's another reason they shut down, because there is that fear that I might be let down, that fear that I might not be enough, that my wife will leave me because she wants someone who is strong, and if I cry, if I'm vulnerable, vulnerable equals weak, vulnerable
Mm.
equals unsupporting,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
that's the narrative that men acquire from other men,
Yeah.
from families, from relationships, from women, from stories, from society, things like that.
Hamish, I've completely lost you. Are you there?
I am still here. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I am still
I
here.
actually, I've just lost my light here, so
Oh
it's gonna
dear.
be fun. I'm just so nervous because I don't, if it closes, then we lose all of our conversation. So I'm like,
Mm.
oh, should I just wrap it up because the light's gone? Uh, and I think I should because I'm getting too worried now. I don't want to lose the conversation. But one last question before
Mm.
before I let you go, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can keep this conversation. Um, that fear. There is so much of fear around. Um, not being vulnerable and not showing your emotions for men,
Mm.
and she'll leave me, that fear, Men, I
Yep.
don't think so men can take it well if a woman chooses another man over them. Their ego is like kind of like bruised a
Mm.
lot,
Yeah.
and women are differently, hurt. But talking about men specifically, uh
Mm.
when with there's so much of pressure, like, when you talk like that, there is so much of pressure. I think for anybody with, then they're operating from that mindset and that pressure, you're bound to shut down. Like, I'm just thinking about it. I
Mm.
mean, the only thing I could do is just shut down, just talking
Yep.
about it.
Yep.
I feel that the
Yep.
best way is just to shut down, because God, it's too much of thinking. If I'm too emotional, if I cry, if I, not if I, how much vulnerable do I need to be to not lose her and stuff.
Mm.
So there's, oh my God, so much of pressure. Right? So then how do men navigate through that?
Drinking, affairs,
Oh.
sex, going to the gym, working too hard, burning out, going to the gym, having affairs, not talking, playing on computer games, scrolling,
Wow.
all these things, anything to avoid that space of quiet where the little voice go,
Hmm.
hey, to avoid having to talk about being vulnerable, to having to have conversations, to all these things. It's very easy to
Hmm.
numb. It's very easy to keep things at people at arm's
Yeah.
length because, as you said, it's scary. It's really, really. I mean, it nearly cost me my life before I
I
realised
lost
that there's
you.
other ways of doing things. You lost me again. Yep, I've lost you. I'm
I've
back again.
lost you.
Oh, this is
Nope.
frustrating, isn't it? I'm back again. I,
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna wrap it up right now, because I'm not even getting the juice of what you're saying. So I'm not learning anything. It's just completely going blank. Hamish, I think we can continue this conversation again.
we will
Uh
do. Yeah. Mm.
wh- when you're not sitting outside, I'm gonna blame it on you sitting outside. uh, uh, and we can take it from there. I'm just kind of like keep on being sarcastic and bringing that up. Like,
Absolutely.
will Hamish
I'll,
shut down, or will Hamish do something so we can, like, kind of like.
yeah.
There we go.
I'll be inside next time, but it's normally all right out here. I do a lot of my calls out here, but yeah. Mm.
Yeah. All right. I have to wrap it up, because obviously, there's so much of distortion. I
Mm.
can't hear you, so I don't know how the recording is going to come up. Anyway, Hamish, thank you so much for coming forward. I was really enjoying this conversation. We were really laughing and having good fun about it.
It was
But your
good.
two
Yeah.
cents before we wrap up. 2 cents before we wrap up. Hopefully, I can get you clearly this time.
I hope so too. My 2 cents. I think men need to learn that being vulnerable is okay. That vulnerability does not mean weakness. It does not mean cowardice. It does not mean you are not enough. It actually means you're prepared to be brave, prepared to be courageous,
Yeah.
and face the world without that certainty. Um,
Yeah.
does it mean it's going to be safe? No, unfortunately,
Mm.
but it's worth it. It's worth it
Yeah.
because who knows what's going to happen. And most of the time, good things happen. Not always, but most of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, I agree. All right, Hamish, thank you so much. I got most of it. So we'll wrap it up here. I think I
Yeah,
have to call you after this to get all the answers right. But thank you so much. I hope to catch you next Friday and probably continue the same conversation. But
absolutely.
thank
Yeah.
you so much, my friend.
Thank you, too. Yeah.
I will make sure next time he's sitting inside, guys.
I will be
But
inside next
alrighty,
time. Yeah.
guys.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.